Greetings, listener. This is Reed McAllen from the Blacklight Protocol. Things have been weird recently. I've stumbled upon some new information that I'm still working on getting it out to you guys, but my posts have been not going out for some reason. I don't know, I think it has something to do with some of the things that I've been poking my head around. I think I've got it corrected, but hopefully this doesn't happen again. I think this is going to lead to something big. Anyway, enjoy this episode. Hopefully it got out on time. Welcome to the Blacklight Protocol, a Red King Creations production. Narrated by Nikolas Pendley. Written by Hunter Johnson. Episode 7. Spotlights. Hey, Mr. Reed. My name is Ian, and I saw something strange. I suppose that I wouldn't be writing to you if I hadn't, though, right? I'm 17 years old. I'm from Alabama. My dad owns a lot of land. I say a lot. I think it's a lot. It's about 100 acres or so near Sipsey. Really nice place, actually. I'm glad he was able to get it. I'm a huge fan of exploring and building little forts and camps and things like that. Dad's real cool because he just allows me to free roam and do whatever I want, basically. So that's what I do in my free time. I camp and explore, and I've been practicing building fires using different techniques. I'm also a pretty big fan of the paranormal. A lot of the times when I'm camping, I like to have a couple of downloaded podcasts or audiobooks, stuff about aliens or ghosts or all kinds of things. It's spooky and I like it. I've never been afraid, which is a weird feeling when I think about it. I'm out there in the woods all by myself listening to stories of people being abducted or seeing Bigfoot or something, and I'm just not afraid. I'm very comfortable in the woods. They're kind of like a second home. I've been up and down and all over Dad's property. There's not a part of it that I don't know. The reason I say that is because I need you. I need your listeners to understand and know how totally normal and okay everything was. There was nothing wrong. I felt great and fine, and for the record, just for the record, because I know what people are going to say, I wasn't drinking, and I wasn't smoking anything either. I had an allergy medication to take at noon, but that was it. I wasn't on anything, and I'm as sober as it gets. I woke up in the middle of the night. When you're used to camping, you're used to waking up. The woods are loud at night and full of life, so it's totally normal to wake up to the noise. So when I woke up, and it was dead silent, I was on edge. Silence tends to indicate a predator is around, and in Alabama, it's very rare we have bears, but we do have bobcats, mountain lions, coyotes, all kinds of things. I don't know if this counts, but my grandpa always swore there were black panthers in the hills and hollers. I sit there, and I'm propped up on one arm, just listening. The only thing I can hear is my heartbeat and breath. That's where it gets strange. I almost felt like a pressure was in my ears. You know when you drive around mountains and your ears pop due to the pressure and elevation? It was like that. Looking back on it, I wonder if it was really silent. Like it was quiet? Or maybe it was loud and I just couldn't hear anything. That's when I saw the light. It glanced over the top of the tent and illuminated everything. Then in a second, it washed away. In a moment, I could have sworn it was a helicopter with a spotlight flying over, and I scrambled to get out of my tent and see what was going on. Was there a search taking place? Was somebody missing? I don't think I mentioned this before, so let me explain. My tent and my camp was situated under some trees. It wasn't exactly out in the open, so if, let's say, it had been a helicopter, I feel like it would have had a hard time finding me, especially because it was so fast. But it wasn't a helicopter. It couldn't have been, because there wasn't any sound. There was almost the faintest hum, and I couldn't tell you if it was sound or the blood rushing to my ears. But it was quiet. And we both know that helicopters ain't quiet. I couldn't see what was in the sky. What I could see was a cone of light that came from whatever was up there. It was thick and heavy light. Like I felt if I touched it, I would feel it. I ran from my camp over to a little clearing where I would hopefully be able to see better. I hadn't brought a flashlight, and I didn't grab my phone or anything, but I could still see. That's how bright this light was. Even though it wasn't near me anymore, it still cast such a glow. When I got to the clearing, I saw... I imagined spotlights, like in the forest itself, was just one big Broadway theater, and those lights were scanning the stage looking for an actor. 'Cause there was more than one. There was a dozen at least. I didn't take the time to count them. I can't tell you how unnatural it looked. The lights had no origin point. As far as I could tell, they just came from the sky, from beyond the clouds. The spotlights scanned back and forth, some of them coming close, crossing one another. At some point, they created a wall, like a wall of lights that slowly and steadily washed over the woods. What struck me was how smoothly they operated. All of the lights were very well controlled. They were very well operated, I guess. Eventually, they disappeared. It felt like it took a long time. Like if you asked me right then, I would have told you the whole thing spanned the course of an hour. But in all honesty, I'd be incredibly surprised if it was any more than 15 minutes total. So yeah, that's what I saw. When I got back to my tent, I got my phone, and I saw that the time was about 3 a.m. So I probably woke up close to 2:40, 2:45, thereabouts. I don't know what it was. I guess if I was just being open and honest about my thoughts, I would have told you it was a bunch of UFOs. I mean, this fits the bill. Fits everything about a UFO encounter. I just didn't actually see the UFO. I mean, even the spotlights, man. If you looked at a cartoon UFO abducting a cow, that's what they would have looked like. Oh, but they weren't green. Sorry, I don't think I mentioned that. These lights were a soft gold color. Like they were white lights, but they had a tinge of gold in it. So yeah, that's what I saw. It's been a week or two since then, and I know some people might be there too afraid to go back to the woods again or whatever, but I went back the next weekend. I can't really say that I was afraid, you know? It was really strange. I'll admit, I was on edge. I freaked out a little bit, but not scared. I didn't feel the need to run. I'll say this last bit, and I suppose I'm done. That's all there is to it. But my last note is this. I think they were looking for something. Maybe someone. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. I wonder if they found them. Abducted them. I'd like to know what you think, if possible. Since I started listening to this podcast, I wanted to know kind of how you see things, what you think about all this. Anyway, thanks. I really appreciate it. Hey guys, for those of you who are maybe tuning in for the first time, my name is Reed McAllen. My goal here is to figure out a protocol, to put a set of rules in place for when people encounter the paranormal. I do a lot of research around the stories that people send in. I'm often privy to a little information, such as more direction as to where people live, and maybe some details added after the fact. I spoke to Ian online a little bit and discovered that his father's property is only about 15 miles from the home in which Cameron Harris had her encounter. I don't know about you, but that seems too hard a coincidence to pass up. Cameron reported beaming lights coming through her windows, and here Ian is seeing lights coming out of the sky in typical UFO fashion. The difference here is what causes me to believe Ian and his story. And that's just that he's just there. You're just there, and these things are happening around you, not to you. Maybe that's a trivial point to some, but not to me. We currently have 2, what I would consider alien encounters in a near proximity to one another. I have no evidence to push forward any further ideas than that, but you wanted to know what I thought. Well, I think you're right. It sounds like the lights you saw, they weren't after you, or they didn't notice you or something. They didn't because they were looking for someone or something else. That's just the feeling I get. I wish I had more for you, but I have a board with maps and pins and a little red string. I'll let you know if I discover more. Thanks for your story.